I don't know if I'm just filming this for myself, if I'm actually going to upload this. I guess if you're seeing this, then I uploaded it. If I do upload it, I don't know how long it'll be up for. I've never really taken a video down before, but I've also never really done a video like this before, and I'm a little apprehensive, I guess, but like the words don't have to be perfect. I might forget something or not say something the right way or whatever, but it can't be wrong if it comes from the heart. This video doesn't really have to exist. There's a lot of things that could go unsaid. Life could go on. A lot of the times in life, you don't get an explanation or you don't get closure on everything. And I think part of growing up is understanding that and realizing that that is okay. This video is obviously radically different from the rest of them. Every other time you see me, it's me delivering a crafted line in an intro or frantically trying to talk while playing a game, or not even talking, just making like crazy noises. All of which I love doing, by the way. But I've never actually just talked with you guys. I wake up every day and I feel this overwhelming sense of gratitude and love for all of you guys. And I don't think any words can ever fully express that and express my gratitude for this. But in that, I think, comes this feeling where I want to be as like completely open and honest as I can be with you guys. For people that I care so much about, I think that I owe you guys that much. I don't know how long you've been here. Maybe you've been here from the beginning. Maybe you've been here for 1 minute. I'm not even sure how many people know this, but I've been doing this thing for over 13 years now, which is just wild to say out loud. In a year, that will become half of my lifetime. Something about me is I try to spend almost all of my time in the present, because that's all we have. Sometimes I'll get excited and I'll visualize the future, but I rarely ever go back. I really ever think about the past. Obviously, what we have, is an incredible part of my life. It's been an unbelievable ride. And it's not even over. Along the way, I've seen a lot of change. I've seen a lot of creators and friends come and go. Maybe some of you guys are around my age or older, and you remember what the early days of YouTube was like. I remember discovering it for the first time. It changed everything. There were like a few big channels, but it was a lot of like viral videos, skits, sports highlights, some music videos. But I remember something like 2009. I was stuck in a video game. It was Paper Mario, The 1,000-Year Door. And I searched it up on YouTube to try to find an answer on where to go. And all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, everybody." And I was like blown away. Like, dude can talk. I figured I would just look up the gameplay, get a walkthrough, maybe it'd be like text on screen or something. But this man was just spitting for the whole video. And I couldn't believe it. That moment is where it all started for me. Ever since that point, I really couldn't get that idea out of my head. I would play games, and in my head, I would just like talk to myself as if I had an audience. I would talk about the game. I would make stupid jokes in my head, whatever it was. And now that I really think on that for a minute, I think I just wanted to be less alone when I was playing. This concept that was called Let's Playing was the idea that you didn't have to play alone. You could share your experience. You could share your thoughts, your feelings, whatever's going on in your head with the world or anybody that would listen. And it's a beautiful idea when you think of it that way. At the time, I was aware that I was happy and that I was enthusiastic and that I had energy. And, you know, I think sure, maybe that takes a little bit of work, no doubt. But let's just call it what it is. Like, I just got really, really lucky with that. And so that was what I had. That is what I have. And I thought, you know, maybe I could share that. Maybe I could give people some of that to try to make their days better. But at that time, it wasn't exactly easy to make content, and I was a kid. So I couldn't figure it out, how to get the footage from the console to the computer in good quality. That was until one day, I remember, I was not doing very well in school. Like, I was doing okay, but all the teachers were writing, like, you know, not reaching potential or whatever they would say. And I remember my mom at that time had grounded me from being able to play video games during the school week, at least until, you know, I improved. Okay, totally fair. Completely understand. But I think a day or two later, I figured out what an emulator was. And I used it to play video games on the computer. And then a few days later, it clicked that I could just record the screen and bang, you got gameplay footage right there. Pair that with an audio recording from a dumb phone that I had, just hitting record at the same time. You can make videos now. So I made a channel. It's called Red Falcon Games, I would call it. I did Let's Plays, which are playthroughs of games with commentary. It's still around. I would not recommend going back. But at the time, it was getting some views. And I was making a lot of really good friends, and I worked hard to put out regular videos. Believe it or not, after less than a year, I became partnered on YouTube with a network, which essentially means that you can put advertisements on your videos. And depending on how well they did, you could make money on them. And it wasn't much at all, but YouTube officially became a part-time job for me when I was 15. With Red Falcon Games and this other channel that I managed and eventually bought called Ninbuzz, those channels would get me through high school as work, but, you know, more essentially passions of mine. I then went to college. I went to Penn State. I did a business marketing degree, and I loved it there so much that I kind of stopped making videos. I put a pause for real life for a little bit, maybe like a half year or so. And that was until I rediscovered Twitch. Like, I had done a decent amount of live streams before on Justin, then it became Twitch, but they were kind of just like one-offs for my Red Falcon Games people. But this time when I was in college, I wanted to see if I could go all in on streaming. Stream as much as I could, see if I could build an audience. So I did. I did just that. I would post on my old channel every time I was live, like, yo, come watch. And that was great. Eventually, once the hype settled down, I think I averaged probably like 25, 30 viewers. But it slowly started building. I decided I wanted to do speedrunning. Playing through, you know, some of my favorite games as fast as I could. Mastering them. But again, like earlier, it was just a vehicle for connecting with people. Like, the games were fun, but all I really wanted to do was to entertain. I really wanted to just be able to reach out to people and potentially have an effect on someone's day. Give them a daily smile. And that's what I did. That's what I attempted to do for years. Throughout my college career, I did Twitch streaming part-time. I obviously, you know, made some sacrifices in my social life and my grades, and I didn't sleep that much. But I don't regret anything about that. I met so many incredible people through Twitch. Too many to name individually. But, you know, if you're listening right now, you know who you are. Both other creators and, you know, an incredibly loyal group of people that supported me. And they helped me get a subscribe button. And they subscribed the day it was there. And they're probably somewhere else doing something else right now, but there's no thank you that I could say right now to them that would ever do it justice on how I feel and what they meant and what they still mean to me today. This Twitch community was there to support me and push me through college. And eventually, when it was time for me to graduate, I had to make like a huge decision. I had to decide whether I was going to use that degree that I just spent a bunch of time and money getting and enter like the workforce, or that I would try doing full-time streaming just to see what would happen. I had done a few summer internships with a big company, and it had paid well, but I knew what those summers were like, and I knew that when I got home I was exhausted, and that I knew that streaming, like that dream, probably was not going to hold up. So when they asked me if I would come back once I graduated, I said, I don't know. Which, that's really all that was needed to be said. So that didn't happen. But I graduated anyway, and I was going content creator, full time, baby. Living the dream, as most people would say. And it was so much fun. Like, it felt like summer vacation, but like permanently. Just for about a year or so, I'd say. I would just boot up the stream nearly every day, as much as I could. Play for 5, 6, 7 hours at a time. And that was my life. Just playing and entertaining. And there were so many incredible memories and moments that I have doing that. And I would not trade those for anything. Paper Mario, all the time, speed runs, Smash Bros, CPU tournaments, so many other different games. Whatever, you name it, we did it. But I would be lying if I told you that this lifestyle that I had was not taking a toll on me. Now, I should be clear in saying that I don't think this is necessarily true for all streamers or for streaming in general. But for me personally, with how my brain works and how I'm wired, it started to get tough for me. I think it's because when you go full time, your livelihood now is directly dependent on your stream's performance. Not only that, but how many people you could get to sub or donate. And I'm not saying there's a problem with that business model, but the problem arises when you aren't streaming. I would have times where I wanted to take some time off, maybe like a weekend or something, and not stream for a little while. And I couldn't even fully enjoy that time because in the back of my head, I knew that it was not good for my stream. So I had enjoyed the streaming part of the job a lot. But I grew to really resent and fear the not streaming part of it, which is really where a lot of the most beautiful parts of life can be found, the ones that I want to be most present for. So I realized with how obsessive and how hardcore I could be with the job and career path that I took, like the long-term plan for that was not looking good. It just was not there. I was on track to burn out completely. I was drinking energy drinks at midnight to stay live, and I was getting high in an attempt to relax afterwards, like just to try to fall asleep before the sun came up so I could do it again the next night. And again, this is just me. This is my fault. I did that to myself. And I was still happy, but it wasn't until recently that I realized that was probably a low point for me, just because of how I couldn't fully handle myself outside of when I was live. But this is where the story turns around. I had lots of experience still making YouTube videos. And I had some friends that still did it and that I would talk to about it. And in many ways, I would envy them. They could work whenever they wanted to. They could schedule a video. And when they were on vacation, they could make their income and make, an impact on people at scale, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether they were sitting at their computer working or not. And I was really inspired by that. I remember talking to one of my friends, Troy, and I remember telling him how I wanted to transition back from streaming to making YouTube videos. I knew that I wouldn't last as a streamer. And I was just hoping and praying that this YouTube thing would work out for me. Otherwise, I would have had to give up on my dream of being a content creator. So I gave it another shot. I made a new channel called Red Falcon, and I set my sights on a game called Super Mario Maker 2. Mario, has always been my favorite game franchise. And that game is sort of endless content. So, I figured I'd be happy focusing on that game for a while. And I was. I did that. I worked as hard as I could to stream that game and make videos for it, hoping that maybe I could grow my presence on YouTube again. Maybe people would mess with me again somehow, hopefully. And it worked. I mean, people seemed to like the videos, and YouTube was pushing them out. And it was probably like 3 or 4 months until the success of my YouTube channel exceeded what I was doing streaming. And on paper, it seems like it happened so fast. But I think what really happened is I had been uploading for 8 or so years before that, and I'd be making all the mistakes. And I had been learning from them for so many years. And dude, I still make tons and tons of mistakes all the time. But, it's all about how you learn from them. Can you turn your L's into lessons? So the games have changed. And I'm sure the audience has came and went, 10 times over. But the goal of this channel is still no different than the one that I had when I was 13 years old. And when I booted up that crappy old laptop with Windows XP on it, and I made that channel. I just wanted to do whatever I could to try to make at least someone's day better. And in support of that mission comes the idea that I want to try to impact and lift up as many people as I can. And that right there is a big part of why I'm making this video. I'm never going to actually know how true this is, but if I think that these videos potentially have a good impact, a positive impact on other people, I hope, then how can I do my best to grow my audience so I can make a good impression on as many people as possible. And this is sort of the hard part of the video, because, you know, it's been happening for a little while now. I've just never really addressed it or spoken about it, but, you know, I'm making this video as a sort of like a love letter, as sort of like a goodbye to streaming and to Let's Playing, and to, you know, the way that I made my videos for a long time. I think that I should be clear in saying that I'm not done making videos at all. In fact, I have more passion for that now than I think I literally ever have. But the conventional way of consistency, of showing up X amount of times, uploading Y amount of times, that's done. All those constraints I have just released on myself and my team, and that is in an effort to literally just make the best stuff that I can possibly make. The other day I was looking, you know, between my old channel and this channel, and we have a combined 1,600 videos. I checked like this Twitch stats website, and I don't know how long they've been recording data for, but it said something like 5,000 hours streamed, which is, I did the math, is like 200 something days, like 200-ish. So between that and who knows what data, I mean, it's like, that's like astounding. That's like almost a year maybe of content. I feel really satisfied with that. I'm content with that. And, you know, I don't think it's a secret anymore to you guys either that things are different now. I'm now exchanging this time that I could be spending live streaming or recording a video for time that I'm spending in different ways, whether it's the pre-production of a video, the revisions in a video, the post-production, the marketing of the video to make sure that it's seen. There's all these different elements that I'm honestly falling in love with. And the price of it is that you're not going to see me as much. It's hard. It's difficult because I know that, you know, I'm letting people down when I say that or when I do that. Especially the ones that, you know, really appreciate you. You feel like, and I feel like I'm not there for them as often. I think a lot of times we want to be people pleasers. But like some of the hardest times are when you aren't. Some of the hardest times are when you can't do that and you become like a you pleaser. I've come across this a lot of times. Times when, I stopped let's playing. I stopped speed running, stopped streaming as much, stopped playing as much Mario Maker and more Mario Party or Mario Kart, and not anymore Mario Party. Or it's hard when you're letting people down. But I feel like in those times you got to just sort of listen to what your heart is saying. Right now my heart is telling me to follow it and to keep making quality videos, the best videos that you can make. The reality is that can't happen on a regular basis. So again, I don't think this video necessarily has to exist. I think we could have taken this route. People would have probably understood. But screw that, dude. I care way too much about you guys. I just wanted to thank you sincerely. Again, like, I don't think there's anything that I could say to really, prove to you how much I appreciate you for listening to me. No matter how silly or stupid, some of the stuff is sometimes, or I just can't thank you enough. And I wanted to just be honest with you guys and tell you where things are going. And I hope you understand, and I hope that just making this video, no matter how long it's up for, I hope that this video proves to you, how much I care about you guys and how much I love you. You might not be seeing me as much. You might not see me, on social media anymore. But I want to make it clear that when you do see me, I will be doing everything I can to make you proud and to make you smile, to make you laugh. That I'm sure of, and that I will continue to do for I don't know how long. As long as I have the heart for it, I'll be there. I want to thank my team for helping me get to this point. Tyler, Colin, Dan, Matt, Syme, for all the help over the years. Adam. And one last time, I want to thank you guys. If you made it this far in this video, you're a legend. I think it's a miracle that I'm even still here right now. Thank you for making that miracle my reality. I don't know how to end this video. Thanks for hearing me out. Truly. I'll see you guys in the next upload. That'll be pretty drastically different from this one. And hey, maybe we'll make another one of these in another 13 years. I'll see you then.